What's up, everybody? How you doing? What's up going on? Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. We're closing out 2024 strong. Can you believe 2025 coming up? Holy cow. Holy cow. That seems like, I don't know, Terminator, like Back to the Future. Like, that doesn't even seem real that we're about to enter 2025, man. Hopefully you guys are closing out the year strong and planting the seeds for a prosperous new year. Now's the time, right? Where are my real estate investors at? My real estate investors know if you've got goals for 2025, there's a good chance, if you got, numbers you want to hit and houses that you want to acquire, loans you want to make, the work is going in right now, isn't it? You guys making offers on properties right now? So when January 1st hits, you already have your projects for Q1 lined up? Or am I the only weird one that thinks like that? Who else is taking action today for 2025? It's good to see. Good to see. All right, cool. What's up? Hey, Christian. First time here. I love it. Welcome. This is the Quickstart webinar, courtesy of, brought to you by the Private Money Club. My name is Noah Harris. You can call me Coach Noah. We do this every single Thursday at 1 o'clock, which is awesome. Hey, Tim, what's going on, man? Derek, good to see you. Is that a question? What's going on? No, I like how you just said, hey, no, like you were really wanted to know what is going on. I like that. It wasn't an exclamation point. It was a question mark. Derek showing how much he cares. I love to see it, Derek. Life is good. Hope everything's good with you. Good to see you kicking butt. I have 2 properties that I can't get private money loans on. Okay, cool. We'll talk about that. The work goes in. I don't want to jump ahead of myself, but we could do a little foreshadowing. I got an email from someone this week, and they were like, "Hey, I really, I've got a deal posted on Private Money Club, but lots of times my deals get a lot of traction. I'm not getting as much traction right now." And my response to that person was, "How much work have you done prior to posting that deal on the Private Money Club platform?" Because in my mind, when you post the deal, once a deal is posted, it should be gone. Because not only am I posting my properties in Private Money Club, lots of times they don't even get to I'm sending out emails, I'm having conversations. So what I would say, and what we're going to talk a little bit about today, Ron, is I would make it a goal. If you have deals that need to get funded, I would make it a goal not to get your deal funded. The goal should be to set up meetings with people who might be interested in funding deals, whether it's this one or in the future, right? That's kind of like how I approach things. Like, you're always selling the next step, if that makes sense, right? We're always thinking about, okay, before I get a deal funded, I got to meet people, right? So then the goal should be meeting people. So I would go back to your post and your profile in Private Money Club. Hopefully your profile in Private Money Club is on point. It's nice and sharp. There's calls to action in there. How do people get a hold of you, right? Because from what I recall, I think I remember seeing you on here before, and your profiles maybe, and you have some experience, right? So how do we leverage that experience? How do we get people excited to talk to you, Ron? And then setting up those one-on-one phone calls where you can spend 20 minutes or 30 minutes talking about your business model, talking about your properties, talking about the assembly line that you've developed over the years that's going to help lenders feel real confident working with you, right? So let's focus on conversations and building relationships. And then when you post a deal, people that you've talked to have been like, "Oh my gosh, there's Ron. Ron's got another deal." Like, it's going to be, hopefully there's going to be a bit of urgency there because people are familiar with you a little bit more. So just a little bit of insight there. Maybe try switching things up a little bit. Sell the meeting. Let the people fall in love with you and your experience. And then when you have a deal, it's going to be a no-brainer for them, right? So keep the deals up there. Make sure there's calls to action. How do you want people to reach out to you? Is it a phone call? Do you have a website you're going to send them to? What's your process look like? Paint a little picture of that for them so they can start to imagine what's the next steps and what it looks like working with you. I hope that helps a little bit. All right, cool. What's going on, everybody? Whoa! All right, so I answered a question for Ron, and then all of a sudden there's 88 people on the webinar. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Quickstart webinar. Coach Noah here. In the chat box, let's make sure it's working. Say where you're from. Did you have a good Thanksgiving? What are your goals for 2025? Are you a borrower? Are you a lender? Let's get this chat box flowing here, Jose. How's it going? Jose Harkin is in the house. Good to see you, Jose. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Congratulations on everything you got going on down in your world. James says, hey, my goal is to lend as much money as safely as possible. So what's cool is, Ron, if you got a deal posted, you know what I would be doing right now if I were you? I'd be messing in James. I mean, sometimes it's that simple, right? James says, hey, I want to lend as much as I can, as safe as I can, right? So why don't you guys connect, right, in Private Money Club? I mean, sometimes it's just a matter of getting on these webinars. I was telling someone the other day, I was like, you got to get your name out there. People got to recognize you, right? There's got to be some familiarity with it. This isn't robotics, right? It's not, it's relationship based, right? It's relationship based. Hey, Allison, hello from Raleigh. Go Canes. All right, cool. So here we go. Welcome to the PMC Quickstart. Noah Harris here, Coach Noah. Every single Quickstart that I do, every single webinar that I do, I am really big on actually making private money lending sound very difficult. I try to make this sound as risky as possible, and I try to scare everyone away as much as I possibly can, because a person can lose money doing this. This isn't for everyone. But why do we log on to these webinars? Why do we surround ourselves with people like Chris Naugle, Stephen Nagy, and Private Money Club money mentors? We do these things because we want to educate ourselves around the area before we just start diving into things, right? That's why we're on these calls. When I first started teaching the Quickstart webinar for Stephen Nagy and Chris Naugle and the Private Money Club, I asked them, what do you want this to be about? You know, what do you want me to talk about? And they're like, oh, we just want you to educate as much as you possibly can in 60 minutes, Noah. Educate people on private money. And I really love that about this company, how they put so much information out there for folks. It really is incredible. So that's what we do. We practice, we educate, and then we practice. So every single week we hop on these calls, we stay sharp, we stay up to date, we practice elevator pitches, we practice our networking skills. I try to educate on a little different topic every single week, but that's the gist of it. We do this every single Thursday at 1 o'clock. Now, I am not a financial advisor. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a licensed mortgage broker or anything of the like. I am certainly not an attorney or any of those things, right? One of the things that I will tell you, though, if a person wants to be successful in this business of using private lenders to fund their real estate deals and being a successful private money lender, it is imperative that you surround yourself with those licensed business professionals, right? Every single real estate agent every single real estate investor on this call right now, if you had a deal and it needed to be funded, I should be able to ask you, okay, great. What's the title company where the closing's being done? Who's the real estate attorney that's handling the closing for you? Who's your real estate agent that helped you or is going to be helping you with the sale of the property? Who's your property management company? Who's your contractor that's going to be doing the work? And then I should be able to look those people up and feel really good about the team that you surrounded yourself with, if that makes sense, right? So I teach a class for Private Money Club. It's called the Accelerator Program. And the very first thing that we talk about in the Accelerator Program is building your team. So I'm curious on here, how many of you are brand new to either borrowing or lending? Is anybody brand new? All right, cool. I got a couple hand raises here. Peter says me, right? Christian says here. All right, cool. So, one of the things I tell people that if you're brand new, one of the things that you might in your mind struggle with, rightfully so, is that credibility piece, right? Like, who's going to take me seriously in this business, right? You might have a background in something completely different, and now you're diving into real estate. Gosh, what's going to make someone want to choose you to lend their money to, right? And so if you're brand new, your team is so important. Your community, your team is imperative, because a person can come to us if we're brand new, we've never done a deal. We can say, hey, look, my background is in, I was an EMT for 15 years, right? I saved people's lives. I was responsible, first on the scene, first responder type of responsibilities. And I love that career. I love that job. I love helping people, but now I'm also into real estate. I want to help myself build my own family legacy. in addition to what I'm doing with the EMT career. But however, prior to going out and buying real estate or just diving into this willy-nilly, I went out and I built my team. I've got the best real estate agent. I've got the best contractor. My real estate attorney's top notch, so on and so forth. So I might be brand new, Mr. and Mrs. Lender, but my team isn't, right? And every single day I'm getting more and more educated in the business. Now that might not seal the deal, right? But what they might say is, hey, you know what? I like that. I'm still listening, right? Which is super cool. And same thing with the lenders. We got to work on our credibilities too. And that's one of the things that we do on this call every single week. Hey, if you are a lender or you're an aspiring lender, like maybe you come from the money multiplier family, or you just heard about, you're ready to rock and roll. You got all your funds lined up. You got your infinite banking system lined up. You got your IRAs rolled over, or whatever you got to do, and you're ready to go, but you haven't done it yet. Is that anybody? You're just like, hey, I just want to make sure I know what I'm doing. Like, can I get a couple of hand raises on that one? Right? I just want to make sure I know what I'm doing. Okay, 3, 4, 3. Okay, lots of people raising their hand, which is super cool to see. Yeah, it's smart, right? But you might be facing the same struggles with the credibility piece where you're thinking to yourself, who's going to pick me? I know as an experienced real estate investor, I want to make sure I'm picking a lender that I feel like is going to actually follow through, right? And so remember, this is relationship based. So we got to start building those relationships. And lenders, it's just as important for us to be working on credibility as it is for our borrowers too, right? If that makes sense. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Quickstart webinar. We got 114 people on the call, which is awesome to see. If you're joining us for the very first time, my name is Noah. Noah Harris. You can call me Coach Noah. I am a real estate investor here in Columbia, South Carolina. Anybody else from the Carolinas in the house? What's going on? Couple hand raises. I'm here in the capital, here in Columbia. My company is called Revive Homes LLC. So lots of times if I'm sharing case studies or something like that, you might see that company. That's not PMC related. That's my investment company. We've been flipping houses with Revive Homes for a little over 11 years. We have a 100% track record. Go Gamecocks. Yeah, we have a 100% track record, and that's really the goal for everyone that joins us on these Thursday calls, right, Jose? The goal is to help people create a 100% track record with their borrowing and lending experiences. How can we elevate the community that is Private Money Club to be as educated as possible, right? I can't make the decisions for you guys, but I can do my best to empower you with questions to ask and things to look for in the deals that you're asking for funding on or thinking about funding, right? And I'm hoping to empower you with a better skill set. This is relationship based. So the more active you are in the chat box, the more active you are on Private Money Club, the chances are that you're gonna have that person's gonna have more success. It is what it is. If I know you, if I knew Allison, I don't think Allison and I have ever met, but gosh, if I met Allison at an event, I'm sure I would remember her. We would talk over at the coffee station. She'd tell me her business model. I already remember that she's from Raleigh. Maybe she likes the Carolina Gamecock. I don't know, but we're building relationships. So if Allison had a deal, I'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna check out that deal. Let me pick up the phone and call her. Right? It's a person. Which is super cool to see. And to see these relationships develop, right? Hey, I think the sound issue's on your end, because you guys can hear me, right? I think you can hear me. All right, sound is working. Okay, cool. Here's what we do every single Thursday. We start right at 1 o'clock. We keep it real estate. There's all kinds of cool opportunities and ways to make money in this wonderful country of ours. On these calls here, I just talk about what I do. All right, so I'm almost exclusive to private money lending on my real estate fix and flips, rental properties, and wholesale deals. So that's what we talk about. Participation is encouraged. So we like to keep the chat box flowing. This is not the webinar where you just eat your turkey sandwich at lunchtime and listen to this crazy guy talk about private money lending. I try to make this as interactive as possible, as I possibly can. So, and I got my team in the chat. So it's not just me. I also have our friend Jose Harkin is in the chat box. Say hi, Jose. So if there might be something that you need that I can't pull up or do on the fly, because I'm really not that great at the Zoom call thing, but Jose is. So I might say, hey, Jose, can you put that link in the chat box? And Jose will put up the link. Jose will put up a phone number. I might say, hey, Jose, when's the next mobile home challenge start? And then Jose will tell me the dates because I can't think of it off the top of my head, right? So Jose Harkin is part of the PMC team. And if you have any questions about joining the Private Money Club, enrolling in a course, you want some help one-on-one, whatever the case may be, there's a link there that you can click to schedule one-on-one time with Jose or a PMC team member. And there's also a phone number there where you can text and call if you need anything at all. All right, anything at all, the number is there. January 5th. All right, cool. Thank you, Jose. Yeah, I think that's what I have. So we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But all experience levels are welcome on these calls. It doesn't matter to us if you're looking to do your very first loan, you're looking to do your very first real estate deal. You are in a safe place to learn and learn how to do it the right way from the start. If you've got 1,000 deals under your belt, man, that's awesome. We're glad to have you too. There's lots of people in Private Money Club that have all different types of experience levels. Anywhere on the spectrum is certainly welcome. And I'm almost jealous of you guys that are brand new, because when I first started doing real estate, doing the fix and flips primarily, it was hard money lenders was the way to go for us. Like, I didn't even really realize that I could go to a person. I didn't know what to say, how to say it, where to find people that would be interested in giving the money to us, lending the money to us to do a deal. What does that even look like? What does the paperwork process look like? So, once I discovered private money, though, it was like, the next hardest thing to do was get people excited about doing it with you, right? And so I got really good at practicing elevator pitches and doing all this stuff, but gosh, it was hard. You go to real estate meetings and you say, hey, how would you like to make a double-digit rate of return on your money, have it secured by real estate that's worth much more? You're at Thanksgiving dinner with the aunts and uncles you haven't seen in a while. Hey, how's it going? How would you like to make a double-digit rate of return? I know you're retiring soon. You just retired. And they look at you like you got 8 heads. They're looking at you like my friend Joe used to say, they're looking at you like a closed Waffle House. It's not making sense, right? So for the longest time, we had people, Jose and I, we had to learn how to do this the hard way, and build relationships that way. Now we've got the Private Money Club. Which is super cool because this is a different type of pond. The Private Money Club, super grateful. Hey, it's Thanksgiving. On Thanksgiving, you send out your text messages to people you haven't talked to in a little while, or you give your thanks and everything like that. And one of the first people that my wife Christy and I texted on Thanksgiving was Chris Naugle, Stephen Nagy, and Shauna Decker of the Private Money Club, because we really are grateful for the relationships that we've made with them and through them, all of you as well. So, which is super cool. All right, so let's talk about this, right? Before we get into what is, we got a lot of new people on the call here. Let me ask you a question. Just so we're all on the same page, because if we Googled private money lender right now, this is how I Google, like this, right? Like one of the Muppets. When you Google private money lending, you're probably going to get a few million search results that pop up, right? And that would be my guess, right? And if you look at the search results, a lot of them are institutions, a lot of them are funds, they're lenders, they've got money, but they're not people necessarily, right? It's lots of times private lending tends to fall into this bucket of, well, if it's not a traditional bank and it doesn't have to check all of those boxes that traditional banks have to check, it's a private lender, right? So, however, like when we talk about private money lending here, let me ask you a question. What do you think of when you hear the term private lender? What do you think of? I like it. Troy said someone that isn't an official lender but has money they're willing to lend from their self-directed IRA or IBC policy. I like that. Christian says credit checks. Like maybe they don't do credit checks. Maybe that's what where you're headed there, Christian? Right? Yeti? I don't know. What does Yeti mean? All right, Francisco says, I like this one. Francisco says a loan shark. A loan shark. So I'm a big, my wife and I are watching The Penguin on HBO. Are you guys watching The Penguin? You guys know what I'm talking. James says the mafia, right? So if we don't pay back our private money loan, is the Penguin gonna come with a baseball bat and his mafia friends and hunt us down? No, it's not quite like that. But it's good that we talk about these things and we kind of joke about them, because lots of times as you're having conversations with people, there's a very good chance that might be the thoughts in their head. Like, let me ask you a question right now. How many of you, and I like where you're at, Shar. I like where you're at. Jeremy says The Sopranos. No, opposite. JP says internet scams. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a lot of people. You don't know what people are thinking. You don't know what's going on through someone's head when you talk about private money lending. Like, let me ask you a question. This is how valuable this is. How many of you know someone right now that could be a very good private money lender, whether it's your business or someone else's, but that person doesn't know it yet? Like, does anyone have a person in mind? Like, gosh, man, that would be great. Okay, cool. Troy has someone in mind. Yeah, my mom. Okay, cool. Patrick Clark says all of us. Yeah, anyone could be a private money lender, right? Just depends on what you're working with, what your goals are. Pete says, I have 2 people. All right, cool. Now, here's the thing. They might not know what private money lending is. So it's essentially like our job, like, to figure out how do we communicate what private money lending is, how it might be able to solve a person's problem if they're having problems figuring out how to put their money to work, or what would that solve for that person? How do we figure this out, right? How do we help other people figure it out? Because lots of times we are dealing with, we're working with people, right? It's relationship based. So anytime you're on the Quickstart webinar here with me, private money lending we're talking about a person. All right, got it? Say got it. We good? Private, and we're talking about people, right? And it's so funny to me. Lots of times I'll be talking to friends, and at the holidays you go out, you're a little more social than maybe you are normally, going to the holiday parties and things like this, family parties and things like this, and people are asking, how's real estate going? And it's like, well, yeah, we just bought these 3 places here, and people say, how do you get all the money to do this? Like, I tried to go to my bank, and they didn't really understand, like, the idea of lending on a property that smells like cat pee and has boarded up windows. They said they didn't really do that. What do you do? And you tell them, hey, we use private money lenders, and they're going to look at you like you got 8 heads. They're not going to understand. Well, who are these people? Who are these people? Like, private money lenders, guys, they're not up there with Bigfoot. They're not like UFOs, right? Like, private money lenders, like our friend earlier said, are common everyday people. And I bet you there's a ton on this call right here. Let me ask you a question. Let's do a little roll call here. The slide up there on the screen says, what's your goal? Are you a borrower? Or are you a lender? Let's see. Type it in the chat box. How many of you are a borrower? You're a real estate investor, and you like the idea of using people to fund real estate deals for you, right? Let's see. How many of you are borrowers? I see some lenders coming in. The lenders are I don't know what you call it. Ready to go. Both, borrower, lender. Both eventually. I need to learn. I like it, Colleen. Borrower at first, then PMC, private money lender going forward. Lender, both, borrower, right? Soon to be both. I like it, Jeremy. Cool. Yeah, lots of people are both. A lot of people borrower first, soon to be both. What's really common is, for real estate investors, you're going to be, you're the real estate investor, you're naturally the borrower. But if you came from a past career, like my friend Chris that's on the call, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. Chris Stokes used to work for a company, big company. Chris, I can't think of the name of it. It's not IBM. She worked for a really good company. BASF. So she had a good retirement, but she was also getting into real estate. So she borrows funds, right, Chris? Correct me if I'm wrong. Chris borrows funds to fund her own fix and flips. And then what she does is she lends out, because she had old retirements that she put in self-directed account. She lends out on other people's flips, which is kind of cool, right? So that's pretty common. That's correct. All right, cool. I thought so. All right, relationships. Folks, make some friends. Right? All right, cool. So we got a lot of borrowers on here. Jose, it'd be fun to go back and just count how many borrowers and how many lenders participated in that, because I know what's going on in Private Money Club. It's pretty cool. Speaking of Private Money Club, all right, so on today's call, I'm going to share with you some ideas of what I would do to help get my deals funded. And I'll share with you some ideas of what I would do if I had funds that I wanted to lend. Noah, what do you recommend? right? What do you recommend? So earlier in the week, I had someone email me and they said, hey, my deal hasn't been getting as much traction as it normally has. Like, what do you recommend? And so I'm going to go through what I told that person, and I'm actually going to show you on the Private Money Club platform, which is super cool, right? A question here. If you do have a question, type them in the Q&A section, but I am going to answer this real quick. It says, what is the security compared to hard money lending? You know what, Maximilian, it's the real estate, man. Private money lending, hard money lending, what makes that so great? Why do hard money lending companies do so well? Why are they in this business? Because where else can a person put their money to work and have it secured by real estate that's worth more than the amount that they're lending, right? That's the beauty of private money lending. And if you want to get great at lending, make sure you're lending less than the value of the asset, right? If you want to get great at borrowing, make sure you're presenting deals where the loan amounts are less than the value of the asset, right? So just like a bank would want a mortgage or deed of trust, we're providing those things. Promissory notes are outlining the terms of the loan. We list them on the insurance, just like a hard money lender would want, right? Everything's the same, right? And we're going to cover that a little bit here. All right, let's talk about this. Let's see who we got on the call, Jose. How many of you are currently premier members in Private Money Club? You can write it, just type it in the chat box. Let's see who we got. Let's do it. All right, love it. A couple hand raises. Hey, Annette. Jennifer, nice. Jennifer, I know it's worked out really well for you. Jennifer, how many deals have you funded through Private Money Club now? I think it's been about a year or so. I'm curious. I know I introduced Jennifer to one of my favorite lenders in Private Money Club, and they've done a couple deals together. Premier member. All right, cool. All right, here's my goal for every single one of you. Like this, I'm all about taking action, and this is not the eat a turkey sandwich and listen to Noah talk about private money for an hour webinar. This is the quick start webinar. We got to get started, right? All right, so here's what I want everybody to do. If you haven't done so yet, Jose can put the link in the chat box. We're going to go over to privatemoneyclub.com and we are going to create, ready? A free profile. Go create a profile. Now there's some limitations and things that you can and can't do. There's differences between premier and free and things like this. But here's what I would recommend. Everyone on this call should, if you're serious about private money lending, whether it being a lender or a borrower, you're a real estate investor, you want to scale your business or just get away from having to use hard money lenders to fund your deals, everyone should have a free membership. I'm a big believer in that. So I'm going to stop my share. We're going to cruise over and we're just going to take a little bit of a tour of the Private Money Club. Let's see what's going on. So we've got a new platform here. It is pretty exciting, but I'm going to share with you how I would leverage it to get the deals funded. What I would do. So if you've been on the site before, type oh yeah in the chat box. If you're new to it, you haven't been yet, now I can kind of catch the vibe. Okay, cool. Allison's checked it out. A couple people checked it out. All right, cool. So here's what I would kind of do. And this is some of the benefits of Private Money Club. And I hope I'm giving you a little bit of a tour. If you want more of a one-on-one tour and really kind of a walkthrough and a demo, then I would schedule time with Jose because he's like the expert, right? He'll roll out the red carpet and show you all the goodies. I'm just learning how to utilize the platform just like you guys are. So this is new to me, figuring it out. But here's kind of what I would do. So we have this community section here, which is good. But I'm going to go over here to deals. And here's how you get maximum views, maximum attention, and how you get how you build relationships. Because I'm telling you, if you just come here and post your deal, you'll probably get some hits. You'll get some people that heart it. You'll maybe get some people that'll message you and things like this. But I'm telling you, it's when someone recognizes your name. It's when someone really knows you, your business model. That's what's going to get people excited. So how do you do that? How do you go about it? We're going to talk a little bit about that. And I'm going to use one of my friends as an example here. Okay, Maximilian and everyone else, please make sure that Jose is not a panelist or a host. So if you have a question for Jose, I think you can message him directly or just make sure it says everyone on the chat, because I see a lot of you are asking me questions or asking for Jose, but Jose can't see what you're sending me. So just make sure that okay, cool. Yeah. Text Jose. The number's there. You can text him if you want. All right. So here's an example of like what I would do. All right. And I don't know if this deal's funded already or not. If it is, Steve probably should take it down, but it's brand new. Okay. So here's two things. Number one, you've got this beautiful platform with all these members that are checking out these deals. All right. So this is my friend Steve Conti. So if you're like, okay, let's check this out. Triplex, South Carolina, 200,000. Now, I like what Steve did here is he put a lot of details in here as he could, the descriptions of the property, some of the financials in regards to the loan amounts, what interest rates they're paying, things like this, okay? But I do not anticipate anyone looking at a deal and then saying, okay, I'm interested, where do I make the check out to you? Like, that's not really how this works, right? I mean, wouldn't that be nice? Right, Steve? If you're watching, wouldn't that be nice? But here's what we're going to do. We can say, hey, I'm interested, right? And you can shoot him a message, right? I'm following him already. But if I want to learn more about this person, and this is why I think your profiles are really important, okay? It's like you could have a really nice deal here. And I mean, we can dissect this deal a little bit if you wanted to. One of the things I liked about this with Steve, like, you know, Steve's offering a 10% return. You know, it's not 15%, it's not 20%, but you know what? Good real estate investors, they don't have to offer 15 or 20% because they got people that would be more than happy to do the double digits, right? So you kind of got to take that into consideration, okay? Sometimes I think people might struggle a little bit getting funding for their deals because they're offering too much interest. If you're offering, and I'm telling you right now, if you're offering 18, 20, 25, that's silly. That's crazy, right? If I can hear my wife outside the hallway. If I called her in here right now and I said, hey, we're going to pay 18% on our next real estate transaction, you know what she would do? She would come in here and she would put me in a chokehold, pass out. I would pass out and she would take over the webinar and tell you guys we're not going any higher than 9%. Okay? Like, that's what would happen because smart business people aren't paying these crazy amounts. So don't sleep on the 10%ers. Because imagine if you're compounding and you're putting your money to work right back into deals, there's nothing wrong with that, all right? One of the things that I liked about this deal, if you really dig into it and look, it says, hey, we bought this building and land for cash. So he already has the wherewithal. He already purchased the property. He's got a ton of equity in it already, right? He kind of needs the funds because I imagine he has other projects going on. But at the same time, he's like, hey, I bought it, no big deal, right? No rush. Right? When you're ready, if you want to come in on this deal with me, great. You know, I've done this X number of times. But I would come over here and I would check out their profiles. And I'm going to give Steve a lot of crap about this because he doesn't have it filled out. All right? This oh my gosh, Steve, this is crazy. So we got to make sure that when Steve messages me back, I'm going to tell him right now. I'm going to be like, Steve, fill out your profile. Man, little does he know there's 150 people we're all giving him crap for this. Because here's what we got to do. We got to make sure that it's relationship based. So if your profile isn't filled out, you know, luckily he's got a picture in there. Guys, when you create your free accounts, like everyone on this call right now, hopefully you're on privatemoneyclub.com and you're creating your free account. Hopefully you're getting a picture in there, right? And you're putting some information about yourself there. Because if it's not filled out, then think you know, I know him. So I feel like, oh, I know him. It's all right. But if I didn't, I'd be like, oh, I don't know. Is this a scam? Is this person like legit? Are they real? Right? So we got to make sure we're doing a good job of this. Okay. So I'll kind of give you an example of like mine and what I got. So I got the photo. I got the back photo. I've got pictures of some of our past projects, so I can give people an idea of what it looks like. This is actually, you know, I actually have pictures of all different types of price points. My wife and I, we flip a lot of manufactured homes as well. So I've got some pictures. That's a manufactured home that we flipped there. That's a manufactured home that we flipped there. So I've got some photos there. And as you can see, I've got some super good descriptions. And then here's another thing. So Ron, if you're watching, right, and you want help getting your deals noticed and people messaging you about your deals, I would put in here information about your experience, But then I would also put in here, so I'm highlighting right now in my profile, what a typical deal looks like for us. Okay? So if I'm letting you know my business model. Hey, a typical deal for us is we buy properties for $100,000, our rental budget's $50,000, and the lender's $150,000 loan is secured by a house valued at $225,000. That's our business model. That's our sweet spot. That's our bread and butter. Now, occasionally we'll go higher, we'll go lower. Right now we've got a $1 million house on the lake that we're flipping, right? But most of our business is in this first-time home buyer price point in Columbia, South Carolina. That's our sweet spot. So now when I'm talking to people, they have an understanding of who we are, what our business looks like, right? What to expect. So if I have a deal that's getting funding, and I send that deal out, it's consistent with what I've been telling people, right? It's consistent with what I've been telling people. So that way there's no surprises. So we just put a house under contract yesterday, $117,000 purchase price, $40,000 in repairs, and a person's $150,000 loan is secured by a house that's going to be worth $225,000. It's falling right in that sweet spot, right? So what's cool, I sent it to a lender that I had in mind, and there's no surprises. They didn't even ask for the details. They're like, yeah, sure, whenever you're ready, send over your packet, right? So this is important. So as you create your free profiles in Private Money Club, make sure that you're doing these things, because maybe this is the difference maker for someone that's not getting enough clicks on their properties. All right. I hope is this good information? Do you guys like me showing you a little bit behind the scenes here and kind of how what my thought process is? So then someone asked about collateral. And so even in my profile, I'm also putting, what makes this safe for someone? What's the security, right? So we provide a mortgage, a promissory note. We list the lender on the insurance as the lost payee, and we provide a personal guarantee. We pride ourselves on communication before, during, and after your loan is funded. Message us to start the conversation. Our deals get funded fast. So even in the second paragraph there, I'm giving people a call to action. My call to I don't want them to just go to my profile and be like, oh, this is nice. Maybe I'll message him on Private Money Club. And you could do that. But you know what? I don't, honestly, I don't check my Private Money Club messages as much as I do my cell phone or as much as I do my email. Okay? If you message me on Private Money Club, I'm going to get an email saying that someone messaged me, but now I got to kind of stop what I'm doing, and I got to, I'm going to my laptop and things like that. So my call to action is, I want you, check this out. My call to action is, I'm sending you to my website. I'm sending you to my website. Now I want you to go to my website so that you can learn more about me. You can watch videos about how we operate, how we do business. You can actually opt into my calendar right there. So I don't even have to talk to you. You don't even have to talk to me. You can get on my calendar to discuss lending just by going to Christy and my wife and I's website, which is cool, right? So these are the things that I think really make a difference and really help people get things funded. The other thing that I would recommend, if you haven't done so already, you can see next to my name, I have these little check marks. Can you guys see that? Say, oh yeah, in the chat box if you can see the check marks. So there's a purple one that's certified borrower, a pink one that says certified lender, and then the premier member little envelope, the PMC envelope there. So I would like to see all three of those badges next to your names. So if I'm flipping through someone, I want to make sure that they're, number one, I want to make sure they're a member of Private Money Club, right? And I'm not talking to someone who's just 1 foot in, 1 foot out, or whatever, or like a bot or something. I want to make sure it's a person. They've made the investment, time investment, things like this. That's my personal preference. And then I want to look at what their education is. If it doesn't say in their profile like their background, and if I'm talking to someone and they don't necessarily have a experience in lending, like a lot of us don't, not everyone graduates from college is like, I'm going to be a private money lender. Usually you have a career, or you have retirement, and then you're like, all right, what am I going to do to be smart with my funds, right? So I want to make sure I also have someone that's taken the time to invest in their real estate knowledge and in their financial knowledge, So we have two courses here. One's a borrower course and one's a lender course. Like I think I can click here on the learning. Yeah, so if you click on the learning tab, with Premier members, Jose, correct me if I'm wrong on this. I'm sorry if I'm wrong on this, but I think if you're a Premier member, you can take these classes for free. Is that correct? I think that's correct. So there's a borrower certification course here. There's a lender certification course, and then there's an introduction to contract law. And each of them costs like these points. Like when you're a member, you get a certain number of points, 30,000 points, and they have it set up. You can purchase it with points. They have it set up where you can purchase these classes. All right. My bad. I thought maybe the borrower or the lender ones are included with the Premier membership. Maybe since I screwed up, Jose, everyone that moves forward gets the borrower and lender certification. Oh, you get 20,000 with your membership. Okay. All right. There we go. I knew I wasn't too far off, right? So I would take, excuse me, I would take these classes. Take these classes so that you can get the badge on your profile. All right, just help you stand out a little bit more. But a lot of this is relationship based. So the other thing that I would do is I would make my name known. Like, you don't have to be on here like a crazy person, like some people are on Facebook all day and every day. What I would do is I would just time block 15 minutes every other day or once a week, if that's all you got, to just kind of read what's going on, to comment on people's comments, to join groups. Maybe to ask questions in your business as well. So we have a couple different groups. You can come over here and maybe you start a group. Maybe if you're in North Carolina, if you're Allison and you're Raleigh, you could be like PMC Raleigh group, what's up? And you start your own group. I don't know. But I have a group here. So for anyone that's taken my accelerator course, I teach a class called the Accelerator Coaching Program for Private Money Club, where I just help people really collapse the time frames on learning a lot of this stuff. Whether you're a borrower or lender, it's good we meet twice a week for 4 weeks, and then I provide some coaching and support after the fact. But as you can see, we've got 171 members. Those are people who have participated in that class. So you could join that group if you wanted to join that group. If you've attended the Money Tank, so on and so forth. Yesterday, I'm going to give you an assignment because we got to get some love in here. My wife, Christy, created the Private Money Club Mobile Home Investors Group. So we just started, only 5 people. Now's your time. You could be one of the OGs of the PMC Mobile Home Investors Group. So if you're on Private Money Club right now while you're listening to me, go join the Mobile Home Investors Group. Don't sleep on the mobile and manufactured homes. In 2024, we made just as much, maybe more, maybe a little bit less, flipping manufactured homes than we did our single family houses. We only did a handful, but gosh, they seem to be some of our best deals. So if you're interested in that, and also for my lenders, if you have smaller price points, like for instance, all right, so Derek Miller just texted jackpot. Christian said, I love manufactured homes. Derek loves mobile homes. I'll just give you an example here of why joining the PMC Mobile Home Investors Group might be beneficial for someone. If you have a smaller amount that you want to lend, but you really want like the first position, you don't necessarily want to be a second or third position, a rehab loan or something like that. You want to be number one, right? Chris Naugle always says, if you ain't first, you're last. You want to have first position type. Well, you need smaller price points. And the manufactured homes, those could be smaller price point opportunities for you. So my wife is teaching a class. It starts January 5th, and it's called the Mobile Home Take Action Challenge. Yeah, okay, cool. Jose put the link there. If you're interested in learning how to, flip manufactured homes, how to make money with them, I don't care if it's someone that has less than $1,000 in their pocket or they got $1 million in the bank. There is something for everyone in that class. My wife is a true believer that she can help anyone make money flipping mobile homes that's willing to put in the work. Derek is actually one of the students from the last class or the class before. Derek Miller is. Hey, Derek, I'm curious. While we got you here, while I have your attention, I just mentioned smaller price points for people that want to put their money to work with private money loans. On your last, I don't know, maybe let's just say your last 2 deals that you've done since taking Christy's course, what were the price points and the acquisition costs of those mobile homes? And I don't know if you used a private money lender, but if you had, like, what would those loan amounts have been if you could? So, like, okay, let's see if you I see a new message here. What did you say? How much? No. All right. So, Derek, I'll give you a couple seconds to reply here. A couple minutes to. $117 or 117,000. And I say that because we get mobile homes for free all the time. $117. All right. How many of you have $117 that you could lend on Derek's next mobile home deal? I'm telling you right now, we had a trailer. We bought this lot recently, and we were planning on flipping this one manufactured home. And then I was like, honestly, Christy, like, let's just remove this one, and we can go and actually buy a new one or buy a nice used one, plant it here, and we don't even have to mess with rehabbing it. And someone actually ended up, we were really interested in the lot because it had the septic, it had all the utilities and everything like that. And someone paying us $500 for it to pull it off and move it. And we were planning on demolishing it, which would have cost us $3,800. So we're actually $4,200 ahead. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? And he sold it for $1,700. Ah, that's cool, man. That's cool. I like that. What about the one before that? I saw one that was a little bit more, a couple thousand. Like, what would that look like? There's just all kinds of cool opportunities for people. Purchased it for $5,500. All right. And so, look, if you didn't have $5,500, how many of you are in here and you've got an infinite banking policy that you just got started with, a smaller amount of money, and you're just like, what the heck am I going to do with this? I paid off my credit cards. I'm doing the whole infinite banking thing, but I got $5,000. I can't do a real estate deal. Sure you can. Just Lyndon, I want you to text Derek Miller right now, and maybe you fund his next mobile home deal, right? It's all about relationships, guys. It's all about the relationships, right? I hope this helps. I hope this stuff. Is this cool? Is this good? Kind of different than what we normally do. So we got the learning. We got everything in there. Become certified. Take the classes. If you have any questions about the classes that I teach, if you have questions about the Mobile Home Take Action Challenge that my wife, Christy, here is teaching, starting January 5th, you can just hit up Jose, and he has the link there, and you can schedule some time if you want. Christy Duckett. Let's see. I don't know, Troy, I just clicked on the link that you put in the chat box, and it worked for me, which is pretty cool. And her course, it varies. It depends on if you are a PMC member or if you are just want to take the course a la carte. Jose can help you answer those questions. And honestly, Jose's the best person to answer those questions. I'm getting some people that are asking, the best thing, Christian, for you to do is to text Jose at that phone number there, 716-568-7160, and he can help you out. All right, let me go back to our slides. So every single week on our webinar, we practice elevator pitches. So this, even though we kind of went a different direction here on this call, it's no different. It's no different. So we're going to practice our elevator pitches as well. So every single week, this is what we do. And then at the end, I'll give you a make a move slide. It gives you some ideas on how to take action on everything. Here we go. Just like a bank, just like a bank. So lots of times, you've heard me say an elevator pitch a couple times actually throughout our time together, the last 50 minutes that we've had together. Part of the elevator pitch, hey, where else can a person make a double-digit rate of return and have it secured by real estate that's worth much more? Right? The whole idea here with the elevators is really to get people intrigued. It's really to sell the next step. No one is going to hear an elevator pitch that you do. I don't care how great your elevator pitch is. And they're going to be like, oh, do I make the check out to you? Like, how quickly can we do this? The whole point of the elevator pitch, and this is why we practice this every Thursday, is to sell the appointment, to build the relationship. All right? To build the relationship. I can't stress that enough. This is a relationship-based business. Your profile should have keywords to it, and if you want help with this, we're going to practice some of this right now, but this is a lot of what I do in the accelerator course. I help people with this, but I want you to think of an elevator in the sense that, there's floors. Okay. In my mind, the elevator pitch isn't necessarily something that has to be 30 seconds or less, which a lot of people think, the elevator pitch, it's an elevator ride. You got to make it quick. No, I like to take my time with it. Some people, and I have different elevators that we could get in. I got some that move quicker. I got some that move a little slower, right? Depends on the situation, depends on the context, but it also depends on who you're talking to. It's really important then when you're pitching private money lending that you're not the one pushing the button to go to the next floor. Because what if the person you're talking to wants to get off? What if they're not ready to go to the third floor or the fourth floor? You just made them mad, right? They're like, hey, I got to get out of here. What are we doing? We're going up another floor? Have you ever been in a hotel and you hit the wrong button and you have to stay in the elevator 5 minutes longer than you had hoped for? Right? Kind of changes your demeanor about the whole situation, the whole ride, right? So it's really important that the person that you're talking to, the lender, the potential lender, is pushing the buttons. Okay, real simple. Got it? That's the mindset here. Okay, so it's lots of time. I recommend practicing this. Now, when you're in Private Money Club, the elevator pitch is important, but you're probably talking more about your business model, who you are as an investor, the types of properties that you buy, the types of loans, what they look like. It's a little bit different if you're in Private Money Club, because everyone already understands what private money is. But I like to tell my students to practice your elevator pitch with people who don't know what private money lending is. Because if you can practice in harsher conditions, harder, it's like running. If you're running on sand on the beach, it's a lot harder. When you hit the pavement, man, you take off, right? So it's the same thing. I would practice with people who aren't in Private Money Club, so that when you're in Private Money Club, it's like, everyone's speaking the same language, right? So keep in mind, a lot of people don't know, like Troy's mom. Troy's mom might make a great lender, but she might not know what private money lending is. So what my advice to Troy would be like, hey, Troy, you gotta give your mom the self-identity, the self-concept that she is a private money lender, that she could be a private money lender. That is something that she would do, right? But people don't do things if they don't understand. A confused mind says no. So how do we make it so that everyone can relate to private money loans? Well, what I would ask people is if they own their own home. Have you ever gone out and bought a house before? Do you own the house that you live in? Right? You're probably going to get a yes there, right? Good chance you're going to get a yes, right? And I would ask them, well, hey, just like the same way that when you bought the house, did you get a mortgage? They're probably going to say yes, right? And when you went to the closing and you got the keys to your house, you signed a big stack of paperwork, right? You signed the mortgage, you signed the paperwork about your loan, right? Prior to going there, you had to call your insurance company and get the mortgage company set up on the insurance, right? Do you remember doing all those things? They'd be like, yeah, man, that stack was this thick, yeah. Well, that's what we would do for you. So just like you signed that paperwork for Wells Fargo, we would sign that same exact paperwork for you. So the loan is secured by real estate, just like a bank would want, right? So those four little words are key, just like a bank, right? Just like a bank. We're providing the same documents. What makes private money lending great? The mortgage or deed of trust, the promissory note, insurance, personal guarantees, right? We list them on the insurance. We're doing all the same things that a hard money lending company would want. We're doing the same things that a bank would want, right? So it's a little bit different than what people are thinking. Lots of times when people think of loans, they think of handshake deals. They think of, am I ever going to get this money back? They don't have collateral, right? They don't have collateral. And when people get this, and you can start to see the light bulbs go off. You can start to see the smiles, the heads tilting a little bit, and their eyes get a little bit bigger. That's when you know they're getting it, right? So you take care of them just like a bank. The next floor that I would kind of have ready, right? And by the way, they're pushing the buttons, right? So I might end the first floor with, hey, just like a bank, and I might say, hey, and we pay a crazy amount of interest. We pay a crazy amount of interest. And then what you've done right there is you kind of left them a little cliffhanger, because they're like, well, how much interest? And when a person asks, hey, how much interest? Boop, they're clicking the button, right? They're the ones wanting to learn more about what it is that we do. So if you are a real estate investor, I would have this figured out. How much are you going to pay people? Don't like wing it. Don't just say 20% or, let's have a game plan. Let's have it figured out. We pay anywhere from 8 to 12% annualized interest. Each loan opportunity is unique. So that's kind of our fix and flip model. I'm still in the phase where we're doing a lot of fix and flips. So lots of times with our private money lenders, we seem to be paying anywhere from 8 to 12%. But I let them know, hey, each loan opportunity is unique, right? So I don't know which one's going to make sense depending on the deal and what's good for you and things like that, but these are things that we can talk about, right? And what's cool is there's this little thing called optimism bias where if you tell someone, hey, we pay anywhere from 8 to 12%, immediately their mind goes to 12%. They're like, 12% sounds awesome. And when you start telling people that you pay double-digit rates of return, you just ruin their day because they're going to be thinking about nothing but the amount of money that they could possibly be making with us, right? That's all they're going to be thinking about, which is super cool. So when they come back to you, hey, tell me a little bit about that. How does that work exactly? Boom. That's when we hit them with, I call this the core four. This is really fundamental. Now, there's more to it than this, all right? So if you're watching this call, and you're thinking about doing a loan, there's lots of stuff that you're going to want to ask for to check and make sure everything's good on. But for a conversation piece, for like the elevator pitch, as a borrower, this is what we're asking for. Hey, promissory note, mortgage, or excuse me, as a borrower, this is what we're signing. This is what we're providing. Promissory note, mortgage or deed of trust, personal guarantee, and the insurance. And I like to talk about these documents whenever I talk about interest rates because, keep in mind, general public out there, like they think 7% is really high interest rate. But in our business model, you guys all know these are short-term loans. They're riskier loans. The houses are getting renovated. They're getting rehabbed, right? Like we're willing to pay more for the money because of the business that we're in, right? It's just the nature of the beast. But they don't know that. So sometimes if someone hears 12%, they might be going into this, hey, is this kind of like a too good to be true type of thing here? So I always bring up that we use attorneys, title companies, everything's handled the right way, just like a bank would want. Prom note, mortgage, deed or trust, personal guarantee, and insurance, okay? So again, this is just conversational. This isn't the end all be all of what I would want if I was a lender, but it is certainly the basement. It's the floor, okay? Show me the money. All the documents are prepared and recorded by a licensed professional. And this is really big. I get people that text me all the time. I bet you I get off this call and someone's got my email and they're like, hey, Noah, can you send me a promissory note? Can you send me a mortgage? I don't like to send blank promissory notes and blank mortgages and have people fill in the blanks. I think that's the craziest thing that you could ever do. The very first thing that we teach in the accelerator program is is surrounding yourself with licensed business professionals, surrounding yourself with the attorneys, with the title companies that are doing all the paperwork for you. Why on earth would you just have one that you fill in and hope that it's filled out and correctly and it says the right verbiage and all of these things in it, and then think that that's going to be okay, right? I can provide you with examples and ones that I've used that my real estate attorney has written and things like that, but I would never recommend not using an attorney to assist you with this. And when you're talking to a lender, that's going to give them the peace of mind, right? That's going to show them, okay, yeah, like, let me, well, who's your real estate attorney? I got her card right here, right? Right on my desk. Emily Howard, Blair Cato, Price and Greg, right? That's how important this person is to your team, okay? So I hope this stuff helps. But the whole idea here, guys, is that you're not selling your deal. If you have a deal, it's very hard not to talk about your deal. What you need to be selling and working on is the relationship, is meeting people. And if the people like you, the people like your business, they like, the commonalities that you have, they can see your goals are aligned, they can see themselves working with you, then the deals come. All right, that's a big part of this. All right, I hope this information helps. All right, I'm going to answer some questions here. We got the link there. Is PM private money available for just construction or development? I'm a land investor. Yeah, man, you can buy land with private money. It's all about the how you present it. What's going to make someone feel safe? There's lots of people that, I think we've bought land with private funds before. Especially if it has like a mobile home on it and we just remove the mobile home or something like that. Like, yeah, absolutely. But it's all about how you present it. What's the collateral? The collateral is the land. Is the loan amount less than the value of the land, right? That's something I would want to make sure, because if you didn't pay me back and I had to foreclose, would I feel confident that I would get my money back if I, at the foreclosure auction or whatever, right? So I want to make sure, right? So the same things apply. I'm going to go to make a move slide while I answer questions here. So on all of these calls, I'm a big believer that everyone should take a step forward one way or another. If you're on this call right now and you've never been to Private Money Club, hopefully you've already visited it, clicked on the link Jose put there in the chat box, scheduled a call with him to help walk you through things. I believe everyone should at least have a free membership just to poke their head in and see what's going on and just be a part of something super cool. I would schedule a call to understand how to use it. It's not too complicated. It's, you know, similar to like a Facebook type of platform, but there are a lot of cool things like we talked about today that can help set you apart. If you haven't taken the certification courses yet, go ahead and do that. 2 of them are included with the Premier membership. The next accelerator course is going to start in January. Okay. Mobile Home Take Action starts January 5th. And this weekend, we actually have a bus tour going on. Probably too late to sign up for that. I don't know, Jose. It's down in Atlanta, where, you know, one of the things that, you know, what is a bus tour? What does this look like? Really what you're doing is you're doing like boots on the ground type of experiential learning with 2 real estate investors that PMC works closely with to help you get a better understanding of how to walk a property, how to estimate repairs, and really how to, you're learning and shadowing fix and flip investors down there in Atlanta and Macon, Georgia. So it's pretty cool. And lenders really like that class because what they're doing, I'm talking about it because if you can't get to this one, maybe you can go to a future one. But lenders, you know, one of the biggest mistakes I see lenders make and borrowers is that they don't know how to properly estimate repair costs. And they don't know how to work with contractors, right? Especially if they're newer or if they're trying to scale too quick and they don't have the teams in place to take on all these projects. That can be a deadly combination for a good private money loan, right? So lenders, it's good to go and learn how to estimate repairs. So if when you're analyzing a deal that someone sends you, you can say, okay, yeah, these numbers seem to make sense here. It looks like you got all this stuff checked out. It's kind of cool to learn that stuff, right? So everyone should be doing something, right? You got to be doing something. Schedule a call with Jose if you need any help. You're trying to figure out what might be the right move for you. All right, so I'm going to stop my share here so I can see the questions. I need some information to pass to a friend on how to invest in private lending. He has lots of money he needs something to do with. I want to share some info with him. How can I do that? You know, I'll send him the link to the next Quickstart webinar. If you think he would like this webinar and learn from this, I would absolutely do that. I would have your friend go and visit. You guys, if you go and visit privatemoneyclub.com, on the side has like all the webinars and different things that they got going on. So there's Money Club Mondays. Oh, that's what I forgot to tell you guys. Gosh, if you really want to take advantage of this, I would register for Money Club Monday. And if you're a Premier member, you can share your deals on here. So, and then you go and register for this webinar. And then once you're on the webinar, it gets recorded. Not only is there a good amount of people on the live webinar where you can share your deal. So I would post my deal, right? I'd post the deal. I hop on the webinar, share it with the group, and then not only that, but this is last week's, where I'll show you. There's my friend Steve there, riding in the car, sharing his deal, talking about his business model. This happened on Monday, so they record it and then it gets sent out. And Private Money Club right now, they've got almost 1,500 subscribers that are getting these emails about your deals. So that's just a whole nother way where you can get exposure as a real estate investor and for your deal, right? So Ron, if you're watching, I would definitely hop on a Money Club Monday if you haven't done so already as well. Christian says, how do we create a proper packet? Where would I learn how to do that properly? You know, we could probably talk about that on one of these next quick starts. It is something that I teach in the accelerator course pretty in depth, but I can try to hit that next couple of weeks as well if you tune back in here. But that is definitely something that we hit on the Private Money Club accelerator course program, right? I think I kind of hit it a few weeks ago. I had a slide. Maybe I can go back to that or share that on the next one. But if you can swing it, Christian, I would hop in the accelerator program where we can dive into that in depth for you. All right. Yeah, it's not too late for that. Okay, cool. One more question, then I gotta go to the bus stop. Could you share how important it is or isn't to be in first position? Is second position a deal breaker? The big thing that hopefully Sandy's still on the call. the big thing here is, it's so funny. My wife, I heard her last week talk about second position lending, and she said second position is not that big of a deal if you're lending to someone who knows what the hell they're doing, right? Those are her words, not mine. What I would tell you, Sandy, is that I would like to make sure that the total debt, so if you're going to lend second position, you got to ask what's the first position. Okay, got to ask how much is the first. And the title company is going to verify that for you, right? I want to verify that amount. And then how much are they asking from you? So what's the total debt on the property? And then how much is it worth? So as long as there's still a substantial amount of equity, I'd say at least 20-25% is kind of like my thinking. I don't want to say that's right or wrong, but I want to see a good chunk of equity there, so that if the property sold, if things didn't go right, there was a foreclosure, the first position is getting paid first. Whatever's left over is going to go to whatever liens in second position. So hopefully there's enough left over. So that's why I'm saying you got to make sure that you got a good amount of equity in there, plan for worst case scenario, right? And then you got to figure out, and then, why is there a second position? What's going on? Are they in a cash crunch, or what's the deal here? And you got to feel that out, and you always trust your gut. And if you haven't I think you've taken the accelerator. Your name looks really familiar. If you haven't taken accelerator yet, definitely do it. If you have, go back and watch some of the videos. Is a personal guarantee necessary to offer a lender? Jeremy, you can do the business however you would like. And in Christy and I's business, we always offer personal guarantees because you are lending to an LLC, because that's the right way to do things. By the way, you're not lending to a person, guys. We always want to lend to an entity. I think your attorney would probably recommend that. I don't know, I'm not one, but if you look at a lot of the hard money lenders, the hard money lending companies don't lend to people, and there's a good reason for that. Okay, so as a private money lender, you can make a nice little business for yourself copying what the hard money lenders do, because there's really good reasons why. They're not going to lend to a person, they're going to lend to an entity. So if you are lending to an entity, I would want a personal guarantee from the person that I've been talking to, right? And I want to make sure that the person I've been talking to is the owner of that LLC or the manager of that LLC. So I want to see their LLC documents. I want to see their name there, right? I believe that if you're going to ask someone for their retirement, the least you can do is sign a personal guarantee so that they can go after your stuff if you don't pay them back. It just seems fair. It just seems like the right thing to do. Okay. All right, cool. All right, everybody. Hope you have a great week. I'll see you on the next one. All right. Take care. Happy investing. We'll see you at the next Quick Start webinar. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Have a good one.